It was, it was a good football game. It was a fun football game at times when we had the lead, especially. But I really never felt too nervous because just the way the game was going, kind of back and forth, back and forth. I did get a little nervous there, and we won a couple 3-and-outs, and didn't put any points on the board. Our defense did a good job of holding them as well. But it was a good game. But you look back, we gave up a lot of big plays. Defensively, I had a lot of missed tackles as well, that led to a lot of their points. And then offensively, we got some big plays as well. And we did a good job in the red zone of scoring touchdowns instead of field goals finally. And it was fun. It was enjoyable. It was a great atmosphere. And I think our kids, at times maybe panicked a little bit just because of the noise and the crowd and the situation. But I think our kids love playing Pitt, and I think our kids, love playing in those big games. And I enjoyed it. I think they enjoyed it, and it was a good turnout. It was the end result was great for us, and maybe not so much for Pitt, but it was a good football game on both sides. You do, just to see if they keep fighting or are we going to come back and keep battling and scrapping, and I thought our kids did. I don't think our kids they never quit. They kept fighting. They get upset when they made mistakes, and you saw them grow, a little bit through that game, together as a team, especially, because I didn't know how close we were, offensively, defensively, and special teams wise. But as this game went on, and the more pressure there was, during that game, the closer these kids became, and that's what I saw the most. It was, him and Lane. Chance making a great throw as well. Our old lineman giving him some protection. And it's just him turning on the burners and going and getting it. Because that ball was in the air for a long time, and he had to go get it. And it was him turning on his speed, and that's a hard ball to catch. When you got that much distance in between you and the ball, and it's floating in the air. And if the timing's right, don't need to slow down, don't need to speed up, and it all worked out perfectly. And that's a huge play for us in that situation. At times, I thought our kids kind of panicked just a little bit on the sidelines, especially the one with Hayden going through his hands, because you just kind of see their faces like, oh no, what's now? And it's just calming them down, telling them it's going to be all right, just relax, we're going to go make plays. How many times does that really happen? That was a lot of luck, on their part. It went straight through his hands, and how many times do you see a ball go straight through somebody's hands like that, or tip, and go right into the other kid's hands? You don't see that very often. So we're going to be all right. We're going to put some points on the board. We're going to get some stops. We're going to find a way to win this game. And they calmed down, they relaxed, and they just did the things they needed to do to win that game. The last 2 weeks, he's really improved, and has really done the things we've asked him to do, and has really turned into the type of back that we're looking for. Still a few little things he's still got to work on. When he was close to the touchdown, or early in the game when we got knocked out at the 1-yard line, you got to get it in there. Then ball security on the second one where he crossed the goal line and lost the ball, and Harley had to fall on top of it. Just those little things. But I think he's seen the holes better. He's trusting us in practice a little bit more of where it needs to be at and where he needs to hit it. And I think he's really, these last few weeks, really tuned into what we're trying to do and how we're going to try to make him successful in the football field. And he's bought in, and he's done a great job these last few weeks. It was even last year, going there and getting into 2 overtimes. It should have been the start of us having, a lot of respect for this football team, because, they were much improved last year, just the way they played, and they played everybody tough. And, looking at their record and our record right now, we're both at 5-2. And, they did beat Northwest, and they played very well against Northwest. They got some turnovers, got some key stops, made some guys miss, in the open field as well, and had some big plays. And, they really earned that game. They earned that win, and they're a good football team. So we didn't make sure that we take care of business this week in practice and really focus in on making ourselves better, offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Not only as a team, but as as a group, as a unit, and as a person, and a player, making ourselves better. And they are a tremendous football team. They do good things on defense. They keep everything in front. They don't really give up the big plays. They rally to the ball, in the run, and they swarm to the football. And then offensively, they got some very, very talented kids that are very skilled and very elusive. And so we're going to be great tacklers and make sure that we keep everything in front of us defensively. It's everybody right now. You're going into week 8. Everybody's tired. Everybody's mentally and physically tired, and it's just who's tougher. We just got to toughen up and get through it, and not really just get through it, but not let it be a burden on us. Just toughen up and go to work every single day, and not worry about how tired we are mentally or physically. It's part of the game. Everybody at this time of year is a little worn out, a little beat up, a little banged up, a little bruised, a little mentally exhausted, but. And that kind of just defines you as a man. What are you going to do right here? Are you going to step up and be a man and take care of business, or, you're gonna let this little thing falter because you're a little bit tired. And hopefully we got a lot of men on this team that want to step up to the challenge and get things done. And I think we have a good group of kids that are going to do that. And but we'll find out this week through practice. But I think this group is heading in the right direction. We started off 0-2, and now they've won 5 straight. So that says something about these young men and what they've accomplished these last 5 weeks. And now we just got to keep rolling. I think it helps, especially this is a little more of the gun run stuff besides just being under center. And you got 7 down linemen trying to barrel through you and 4-point stances and just getting after you a little bit, where this is more of kind of a zone read option than anything else, more than instead of the veer and things like that. So it gives you a little bit more time to see things and see things develop besides just right in your face, right then and there. So, I think our defense will be fine. They just got to make sure that they, read their keys, understand who has the quarterback, who has the dive, who has the pitch, just like last week. Being sound, in our schemes and doing their job. And I think if they do those things, we can be successful. If we're not, then they're going to have a lot of big plays against us. We got to tackle well. They got a very good, they got very good running backs. They got very good quarterbacks that run the ball very well. That are very elusive. And we got to make sure that we get to them and we wrap up tackle, not just try to hit them with shoulders and hopefully they fall down. So we got to keep our eyes open, our heads up, and wrap up tackle and gang tackle. If we can do that, I think we'll have a very successful day. He just got to know where he's at and read his keys. I mean, he's really good, on especially his option play, the pass play where he really sells the option really well and stops and able to take 2 steps back and throw the ball. So he's able to see downfield while he's actually doing his run. And then just his elusiveness as a runner. I mean, he can make some guys miss. And so the goal as a tackler right now is just make sure you take one thing away. Give him one way to go, and that's the only way he can go. And focus on the hips and run through the hips and make sure you run your feet through him and not just let him make that move on you. Take something, take it away, make him go inside or make him go out. And, don't let him have that space, because the space is what kills you. With guys like that, they get in open space, give you a few jukes, you get off balance, and he beats you. So we just got to get to him, be aggressive. And, he also does a good job of not taking big hits. Watching every game so far that he's been in, and when he's down the sideline, he's not going to take a hit from anybody. When he's running up the middle, somebody's going to hit him. He knows how to get down and cover himself up. So, he does a good job of, taking the hits when he needs to and then not taking them when he doesn't need to. So, and the running backs are the same way. They're good. They got 2 of them. They're very fast and agile and quick. And then they got one that's just kind of a bruiser who's just going to get downhill and try to beat you up. So, we got a tough challenge ahead of us. And, I think our defense will be up for it. It's almost like we're on the road right now. It's kind of how it'll be, because almost all of our road games have been afternoon games where we're kind of acclimated to that. Chapel and it'll be a little bit earlier. About the same time as we've been on the road and pregame meal and all those things. So it doesn't really change much for us. Just we'll do chapel 4.5 hours before and and pregame meal 4 hours before the game, and then the kids come over and get treatment and get themselves ready for the game. So that's basically the same thing we do on the road. Night games, we get a little bit more of, walkthroughs and meetings, that thing, those type of things in the morning of night games. But, we won't have that. So we have to prepare them, the night before, make sure that they're ready. I think so, just, because the games have been really close, and they come in here and compete, and we go there and compete, and it's a battle week in and week out. But, that seems like that's every game, in our conference week in and week out. It's a dogfight till the very, very end. And, it always comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes and which guys make the most plays. And, we got to make some plays this week, and we can't make a lot of mistakes. We got to get some turnovers on defense, and we can't turn the ball over on offense. And we got to do a great job on our special teams of not giving up big returns and get some big returns, in return. And, and just covering the field and doing our jobs and doing our assignments. And I think that this game's really going to come down to is who the most physical team is, who plays harder, who wants it more, who makes the least amount of mistakes. If we can do those things better than them, I think we come out with the win. If they do it better than us, then they're going to have the win as well. But we just got to get our kids focused and locked in and get them coached up this week and get them ready.